It all started now. This day's a turning point in my life. The day I begin living my life from the inside out. And I am transformed. I am transformed.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Mikovich, your host for Family Today. This show is for everyone. It's for parents, grandparents, and young adults. It includes art, culture, entertainment, and spirituality. How many of you have trouble setting boundaries? And how many of you think if you speak up or speak your mind clearly to your family members, you're afraid to be disowned? So today we have a very good topic. We are speaking with my guest, Marty Rotella, and he's going to be speaking on the shield of protection. With me is also another guest, Christine Cullen, and Marty Rotella, speaker, writer, and singer. And here they are. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Maria, how you doing?
Maria, thank you for having us.
So it's good to see you both.
Same here.
Good to see you.
And I know, Marty, that you're talking about the shield of protection in family life. And of course, we got to set boundaries. And we have to have in mind also that, you know, there's different dynamics going on with brothers, sisters, parents. And just to identify what your role is in your family life. So what would you say to that?
Well, the whole thing is just to give a quick background on myself and the fact that I went to therapy for many years for my own self to heal, not to change anyone else, always to work on Marty. That's what's important. You can't change anyone else, going to work on yourself. So as I was working on myself, I was also teaching. I was a public school teacher for 31 years. I retired 4 years ago. And there I could use a lot of the therapy that I knew. And when I learned about the shield, I not only tried it myself and my own family, my own friends, and saw it work 100%. Then I started to teach it in school. I worked with teens after school called Teen Issues. And in the Teen Issues, I would teach it. Then we had Parent Issues. It was so successful, we had Parent Issues. We taught the parents. So what happened is every time I teach it, now I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, mostly around the United States. And when I go out, I teach this all the time, and it's 100% track record. It's crazy.
So the world is going through a transformation.
Well,
Because
hopefully.
of people like you.
Yeah,
What would you have to say about these families and issues and that things that we face with family life?
Well, with family life, I think that usually dynamics they tend to get people struggle.
Yes, yes.
Because of issues that perhaps teens go through. And because their world is changing a lot. And,
Yes,
you know, parents
it
are
is.
very busy nowadays. And,
It is.
And life is, the world as we know it, is changing. So something with the shield, it really gives them a way to...
In some form of a protection.
Yeah, protection.
How does it protect you? Let's say you're in a struggle, a good struggle,
Right.
you know, for truth, right?
Absolutely.
How would you protect yourself from people that are not as healthy as you might want to perceive them?
Okay.
How would you do that?
Well, it begins with the fact that it's any type of abuse. We're talking verbal, we're talking physical, we're talking sexual, any abuse. So when abuse comes, what you do is you're erect. You don't become aggressive. You just stand erect and hold the hand up to the chest. This is why it's called the shield. It shields you from the words. It shields you from the abuse. Yeah, but not out. If you go out, it's aggressive. So you never want to do that. So the key here is up and elbows and right up to the chest. Excuse me. And that's the word. And that's how soft you say it. You're confident, soft. No.
And you should be grounded on your feet or grounded to the floor, not, you know, like one foot is on the floor and the other one is ready to go. That sends off a signal that you're not really meaning what you're saying.
Now that's really interesting because I never even thought of that. And really, see, and you see how the spirit works, the spirit of life,
Yes.
you know, just works. And the fact of teaching me, I can add that. That's a beautiful thing in my teaching. In the fact that, and that's why I said stand up straight, because that's the key. The key is I have to know that this is a strong defense. And you know, and excuse me, You can't say that to me. Excuse me, you can't do that to me. Excuse me. Now, if it continues from the other end, which it will, usually does, because they're not used to this. Well, what do you mean? Excuse me. You just stay focused on the excuse me. Don't get aggressive. Don't raise the voice. Stay focused.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if somebody's inappropriate with you? Let's say not a family person, but somebody out there in the world, on the street with traffic. How would you, let's say something unacceptable is given you.
Right.
What would you do at that time? And let's say he's a stranger, this person that confronted you and said something that was not acceptable, like the word, I don't know, what kind of word comes in mind?
Well,
somebody will call you what?
Well, it can call you anything. It can curse at you.
Yeah.
Right? They can. It all started with me when I had to stop people calling me dumb, stupid, and lazy. Yeah. I had people.
They actually call you that? I don't believe it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? They say I'm going to inspire you by doing, but they don't realize it's wrong. So
it is.
You have to do this, no matter what, whether it's a stranger.
We start believing it too.
Yeah. We do. We believe what is spoken to us, for sure.
And I think it comes up with the family dynamics, family life when you're a child. You know, if your mom says you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you start believing it. And then how do we disengage from that belief system, which is ingrained in you, and then just to program yourself differently in a healthier way?
Well, the key with the whole thing is that it doesn't matter if it's a stranger or a family person. It works 100% with everybody. So you use it all the time. If a family member is doing that to you, you're not only helping yourself, you're helping them. Because in the end, it takes 3 times, by the way, 3 times to stop a bad habit. Just like when you study at night, you go to school and you learn something once, you do it for homework twice, and then the 3rd time is when you review it the next day, it's in the computer. Same with this. The person will stop after 3 times. You not only helped yourself, you help that person, and that person becomes a better person, and they don't abuse as much. It's really cool. It really works.
It is.
I think
it does work both ways. It's a win-win situation. But sometimes people don't understand that. Especially, I think, I don't know if I could use the word old school. I know from Croatia, I'm from Croatia, by the way, and there's a lot of belief systems that are going through many ages, many years, and if you just turn it around a little bit, they will disown you, even as a society, because you're thinking differently. You're now challenging them, really, so you become a threat. So how do you deal with that?
No.
Is it okay to disengage? Is it okay to just step back?
Well, culture is good. The problem with culture is that it's like everything else, really. You have to be open, though. So culture is good. You want to learn culture, but you also have to be open. So the people that are passing the culture down have to be open to learn from the young ones. I'll give you, for instance, my son one day says to me, he said, "Hey, Dad, I want to go to this heavy metal concert, rock concert." He was young teenager. I said, "No." So finally, we get to the point where I had to yell at him, "No, you're not going, blah, blah, blah." Well, 10 years later, he approaches me. He goes, "Hey, remember when I asked you to go to that rock concert?" I said, "Yeah, what? It's still on your mind?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I just want to tell you, it really hurt my heart." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but what do you want to say to me?" He said, "Dad, all I wanted you to ask me was why." What? Yeah, because my culture was, "No, you're not going to this rock concert, and that's it, because it's, He said, "Just ask me why." And then we could have talked about it, but you never asked me why. It was really powerful. So I learned from my son. He said, "Do you remember the music you liked and your father didn't like your music? You wanted him to like your music, see?" So he taught me a lot about this culture thing of passing things down, but being open to learn from our children, to learn from our grandchildren.
Definitely. Oh, yes.
It is
Indeed.
true.
Yeah. So many people are struggling with families, from all walks of life. What are some of the key factors that you could recommend to people out there, how to deal with your children, how to deal with even when they're married? Some children cut their families off. I don't know, I think it's an epidemic about that. And the parents are not always wrong, and I think there should be a clear-cut communication. There's help available. If there's anybody that has to stay in the middle of it, almost like a referee, let's say a therapist or a life coach as myself, I think that those are good things. But if the other side does not want to connect with that, then what must we do? Just stay aback and just, take life as it is and just let God do the work in that? What would you say to that?
The key is that I cannot change anyone else.
Exactly.
If you're out there listening, just say it to yourself. I can't change anyone. I can only work on myself. In a situation of a family, and whether it's breaking or whatever, I try to accept everybody in their world. I try not to infiltrate what I want to infiltrate into their lives. I plant seeds. That's it. I try to love them where they are. They are.
I agree totally.
Right.
But there's like almost an epidemic. If your friend gets married and you get married, and that friend or many of the friends cut their the guy's family, let's say the gentleman's family, and you become that too. And there's no reason. There's nothing that they would never say why we're cutting you. Let's say the woman tells the young man that once they're engaged or married, you cut the cord of your family, but she stays with her own family. So what is that? Isn't that controlling and manipulation instead of clear-cut communication? Because if they want to be healthy and clear-cut and really God's way of doing things, they will achieve some sort of, I don't know, like I said before, a therapist, somebody that could talk, a healing session, something to that effect. But if people just do that, and like I said, it's going on in so many people's lives. People come to me, they say, Maria, this and this happened. And they have no clue. Well, of course, they might have made a mistake, and they were willing to admit their mistake. But these kids are saying, no, cut the cord. What cord? What cord? I mean, unless you're attached to your family and you want to rule, and the other family loses, that's not the way to live.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the way to live. Yeah. And I could attest to a lot of Croatian families and Italian families, and they're coming to me and saying this and this is happening. It's almost like drug and alcohol. Once we heard it, it became an epidemic. So is this. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to heal that.
Right.
Well, perhaps you can even use a reformed version of the shield to communicate with someone who you love. Because that's exactly, if you're in a relationship and someone's going about cutting off your family, perhaps you can say, wait a minute, let's talk about this.
Yes.
And open up a line of communication.
But they don't want
Communication is really key in all relationships.
Well, do you want to demonstrate the shield of protection?
Before I do the shield, just a story. Stories really help.
Yes, they do.
I went through a divorce, and my daughter got mad with me for 3 months because I left to make things better, but she didn't see it as me trying to make things better. I left her. So she didn't want to talk to me. So I went to prayer. And of course, hey, who else can help you better than the big guy? So what I did was I said, and I hear in my heart, hey, call her every day and tell her you love her. Well, I got almost annoying. I call every day. What do you want?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Finally, after 3 phone calls, she cries and she said, I want to see you. Okay. Now the key here is that to be the adult, whoever's the adult, try. I love you, hang in there, but we have to know that we live in a reality of life, and in a reality of life, there's pain.
Oh, definitely.
Well, we don't want it, but it's there. And in the pain of to lose a son or to a daughter or people pulling away, that's painful. How do you deal with that? I don't know, but I tell you right now, that's something that where we need our friends, the real friends that are there, the relatives that are really there for us, and then we get God, and that's how we get through it. So
absolutely.
So I hope that story helps somebody out there.
Yes, and there's a story in the Bible that you wanted to share about too. Would you care to share about it?
Sure. In Scripture, what happens is that Jesus was a cool life, whether you believe it or not, he's just the greatest life. And at 12 years old, usually there's not even in the script, there's nothing in there except from when he was a baby, and then it goes right to when he's a man. But there's this story when he's 12, and they go to the temple. Yes. And they're at the temple and they're worshiping and everything else. And then Mary and Joseph go back. But he's not with them because Jesus is in the temple and he's hanging out with the priests. What is he doing? He's listening, he's learning, he's asking questions. He's a cool dude. He really is unbelievable. So as he's doing this, Mary comes back looking for him. And she says, son, What happened? And this is what he said. He said, I'm here doing my Father's business. Yeah, will. See, that's the key.
Absolutely.
The key is we have to allow our children, when they get to around the age of 12, 11, 12, 13, to give them their wings, to say, all right, now you have to start following what's in your heart, you know, and we have to try to back it. That's not an easy thing. It's hard. And then what happens? Mary says, okay, she pulls back, and then Jesus, being obedient as a good child, you know, 10 Commandments, honor your mother and father, he says, okay, now I'll come back with you. It's a really powerful story in a family relationship, how to be a parent. No courses about how to be a parent, but here's a beautiful story. And then how to be a child of God, you know, for coming home to mom and dad and listening to them. So.
Wonderful story, beautiful story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yes, we see it this way. You project it very well in your family life, right?
Try to, yeah.
Yes, of course.
We try, yeah.
We try our best.
Always.
So, do you want to demonstrate the shield of protection?
Sure. So,
how can somebody protect themselves if somebody inappropriate comes along, maybe a drunk or whatever, or maybe just a regular person being rude?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so whoever's in front of you, and whatever happens verbally, physically, whatever it is, it's right here close to the heart. Excuse me. You can't say that to me. I can say anything I want. What do you do? Excuse me. You can't do that to me. I'll do anything I want. They're irate, they're drunk, whatever. Excuse me. And the key here is usually they walk away. They're frustrated. Now, I taught a young girl this, okay? She was being abused at home. I think it was a father. And she did it. She said, but I'm scared because he's drunk and he will. So she said, he'll hit me more. I said, well, you're getting hit now as it is. So isn't it better to try this? And even if you get hit, maybe it'll work and you're doing something instead of just taking it. In the end, and that's only going to it's not going to help you, it'll help him. It'll help your mother. It'll help your little brothers and sisters. So she tried it and he did hit her. But after a while, after that 3 times, he cried. He said he was sorry and it stopped. This is how powerful it is. Excuse me, you can't do that to me. Excuse me, you can't do that to me. Excuse me. And in the end, not only you, but the person finally sees it. They might have been abused themselves and they can't see it. So finally they can see it.
Christine?
They absorb it. And it is a rule of 3. Because I teach music, I'm always in the 3 zone as well. And
you teach music
I teach music too. And I teach a lot of young teens and a little younger, all the way down to babies. I teach adults. But the crucial time is with young teens, tweens, when they're developing, and 3 is crucial number when you're repeating it to just, it gets it right in, like Marty said, into the computer. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying it. Because if you're doing nothing, it's never going to change.
Do you, Christine or Marty, do you secretly, when somebody's rude to you and you really cannot do anything about it, you're in an environment where you really can't stand up or what, do you secretly, pray for them, so you could be a little bit more at ease in them? I always found that the power of prayer within, if anybody's rude to me or inappropriate, especially a male, I've been going through that a lot in my life since I was a teenager, and I didn't know how to defend myself. Nobody ever taught me about boundaries, about how to defend with the shield of protection. And so I had to learn it myself, because I formulated so many questions in life that I became a life coach because of it, and I think God used me for that too.
Amen.
So I could serve others.
Absolutely.
Whatever. But
when you pray for people, I find that you heal yourself as well as
you do heal yourself.
You heal yourself, and you're praying for them.
Yes, you become more at ease. You become more calm, and you let the higher power do its work.
Absolutely.
And many times that it happened to me when people were inappropriate to me in a public place, and I just stood my grounds and I just prayed. At the end of it, at the end of the affair, or whatever I was in, they would come to me and say, "I'm sorry," and sometimes I had goosebumps, and I said the power of prayer does work, a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times you have to use tough love.
For sure.
No. It's very interesting talking to both of you, and Now Marty will be performing the song. What is the song that you have for us?
It's called I Give You Wings. It's a song I wrote for my daughter in that whole situation, the story I told, where I had to give her wings. I had to let her go. You know, most people when they get a little nervous, their daughters are going to college. You know, but I had to give her wings, and I wrote it about that situation.
Yes. So now you're going to perform this song, and Marty is going to sing for us, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye. We built the entire library out of recycled bottles. Fried ants are delicious.
We finished a clinic in a rainstorm.
Really? That was a confidence builder. My students actually ended up teaching me. So I learned this dance. I'm gonna show you this dance.
In la keg, a la king.
The classroom was more of a class tent. I think managing a sales team is tough. Try working with 5 different villages. My alarm clock was a rooster. Beans for breakfast, beans for lunch, beans for dinner, and we ate a lot of beans. I learned a 3rd language.
My seatmate on the bus was a goat.
Always include the village elders. Always. My morning commute was by canoe. After 2 months, I was ready to quit, but after 2 years, I didn't want to leave. I didn't know I had it in me.
Turn 2 years of service into a lifetime of experience. To all the Peace Corps volunteers, past, present, and future, thank you for your service to your country and the world.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids that don't know where they will get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength. You can take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
If you have comments or questions for this show, or would like to appear on Family Today with a cooking recipe or story to tell, please contact Family Today. Our website is www.familytodaywithmariamirkovich.tv. Email mmirkovich1@nj.rr.com. Call 201-314-9804. Please like us on Facebook.
I give you wings, I help you fly. Now you can soar up to the sky. I give you wings so you can see the world that holds your destiny. I give you I give you wings, I know it's best to set you free, to leave the nest. I give you wings, an eagle spread, no more restraints, fly where you're led. I give you hurts me, my heart will set you free. Love and life need freedom, and that's how it must be. My eyes may tear and redden as time goes passing by, but I'll endure my private pain as long as you can fly. Give you wings, and now I pray this gift will bring you love each day. I give you wings, and why they'll be your guide. I give you
Thank you, Marty. You were excellent. Tell us a little bit more about the song. It was beautiful.
My pleasure, Maria. Thank you. As I said, you know, it's tough as a parent to give the wings to your children.
Yes.
I would have never been able to do it unless I touched base with my heart. That's a key. You talked about that just before we went to the song, that if you touch base with your heart, which is life-giving, it's easier in situations, you know, especially when they get a little rough or anxious, all right, or fearful. So that's what the song's about. It's about a parent who's trying to touch base with his heart to allow that child to grow in the best way possible, you know. So that's where I was at with that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, where are you appearing next, Christine? I know that you're a great artist and singer, and you're a teacher.
I teach vocal instruction at the Hope Center for the Arts in Jersey City.
Yes.
I specialize in really enhancing performance and building self-esteem for young people up to adults, and I sing all over. I still perform, and I also I'm a firm believer in starting music at a very young age, from the womb all the way through adulthood.
Oh, definitely,
so,
I believe in that.
Yeah,
yes,
so
from the womb.
Yeah, from the womb to teach. So I help people with that,
so
and
mothers
mommy
that
and me.
Pregnant,
yes, mothers that are pregnant, or
they hear the light and sound of God.
Absolutely.
Of God.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
And I teach a lot of family music time where the parents can bring their children, and we sit on the floor and learn instruments and rhythms and all kinds of things like that from my background in music education. So I'm really out there in this whole area, giving private voice students as well.
So do you have a date that you're appearing? Do you have a date in mind that you're appearing?
I have a lot of things that are coming up.
Oh, okay.
But I can give you a place to contact me, and I'll be happy to send that out to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
and your website is?
Actually, the best way to get in touch with me would be Christine's Music World. Christine's Music World.
Christine's Music World.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Just
you.
Google it.
Yeah, you can just Google it.
Christine's Music World.
Yeah.
And you, Marty?
MartyRotella.com. That's it. MartyRotella.com.
That's your website.
That's my website. It has all the places I'm at.
And it has everything
schedule,
all the schedules.
All my songs, my music, everything. Yeah, so that
nice.
Yeah, it makes it easier then.
Yes,
right
if people would say it again in the camera.
MartyRotella.com. MartyRotella.com.
Thank you for coming. I had pleasure in speaking to you.
Thank you.
And sharing with you.
My pleasure, Maria.
Thank you, Marty.
Love being with you.
And thank you, dear audience, for watching us. We will have a show that is of best interest to you and your families. And until next time, I'll say goodbye for now, and God bless.
It all started now, 'cause I figured which way to go. Saw the light, took the path of